Swerve Strickland is going to return on Dynamite this Wednesday, and I think that he is going to join the Hurt Syndicate. And when he does, he's going to do this. Welcome back, everybody. It's Screw the Script. I'm your host, as always, Maverick here. Thanks for joining me this Tuesday evening. Back-to-back videos, like I said, I would drop. And it's my second ever Tuesday top Turnbuckle Topic. This one is going to be specifically about Swerve Strickland. He's returning to Dynamite this Wednesday, that special 3-hour show. Here's the card real quick. We'll go over that and then go on to the topic. Divine Dominion's going to have a match. They'll likely squash another team, but I think this is ultimately going to lead up to the Brawling Birds outlasting them in the 5-minute time limit, and then eventually besting them at All In Wembley. That's my guess. Ciampa and Mark Briscoe is going to be a hell of a match. Anything goes. I'm sure they'll both end up bleeding. I'm going to pick Briscoe to win that. Shibata and Will Ospreay. Now, this is like 1B to the 1A top Turnbuckle Topic with Will Ospreay's storyline and the Death Riders, although I have covered that quite a bit. And I think that it's going to tie into the Swerve stuff, which I'll get to in a few minutes. I got Ospreay winning that. Tag Team Championship match. I got FTR defending against the conglomeration. They're not going to drop the titles until they do drop them to Cage and Cope. Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley. I think Moxley is going to get the best of them this time. However, since it is an eliminator match, I could see O'Reilly winning yet again, but then Moxley successfully defending against O'Reilly in an actual title match. 8-woman tag, I've got the heel group winning that with the Triangle of Madness and Athena. I think Athena on TV is going to look great. They need to utilize her more. I know she's ROH Women's champ and she's busy with that, but get her more on AEW TV. Collision, Dynamite, whatever it is. She's fantastic. Darby Allin versus Mike Bailey is going to fucking slap. That's going to be a hell of a match. I've got Darby Allin retaining here, like I've said for weeks now. I think he's just going to lose to MJF after defending multiple times. I think this will be, 7th or 8th defense before he faces MJF this upcoming weekend at Double or Nothing. And I think MJF's going to recapture that AEW Championship. And then let's tie this into the top Turnbuckle Topic. Swerve Strickland, I think long-term storytelling, this is what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to join the Hurt Syndicate, and then that is going to excel him back to the top of the roster for the title. I think long-term, Darby Allin's going to beat Mike Bailey, then he's going to drop to MJF at Double or Nothing, and then at All In Wembley, MJF is going to lose to Will Ospreay, and then Swerve Strickland is going to beat Will Ospreay for the title. Had to take a breath after that. That is my long-term prediction, and here's how I see it playing out. We see him get offered by the Hurt Syndicate this upcoming Wednesday after he cuts a promo, and he's going to end up beating Bandito. I think that is how he's going to get into the Hurt Syndicate. He's going to win the entire tournament, starting with beating Bandito and at Double or Nothing as one of their matches for the card. And then I think after successfully winning the Owen, that's when MVP will offer him a spot in the Hurt Syndicate. That is where Swerve Strickland ultimately will excel and eventually become their top star of the three. And this will bring him to, top of the list for title shots. And he'll eventually get in the mix with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay will probably have some defenses before that, because I think that this will probably be the long-term story in the world title picture to close out 2026 and maybe head into 2027, where, let's say, Swerve beats Will Ospreay for the belt at World's End right before the year ends, or at Revolution around January, February, that time of the year. That's my long-term story prediction. Let me know down below what you think about Swerve, what you think he's going to do when he shows up. There's been hints at that. You saw MVP approach him months ago, and now I think this is coming full circle. Now for some other AEW news. Beach Break is going to be in Clearwater, Florida. Finally, holy shit, did it take them a while to finally have Beach Break at a proper beach. It's going to look beautiful. It's at the Bay Care Sound at Coachman Park. You can look up photos of that venue. It looks gorgeous at night. It's going to be great. It'll be July 8th, so it'll still be daytime when it starts, but there's going to be a really good sunset that you'll be seeing during that show, and then it'll probably get dark by the end of it. It's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see the setup for that later on in July. Onto some MJF stuff. I know that he's ultimately going to win the title back at Double or Nothing against Darby Allin is my prediction. He's had some choice words, starting with the recent interview that he had with Ariel on his show on Aleister Black. He says, Black was a mark looking for a WrestleMania moment. I don't want to deal with guys that don't want to be team players. Fuck off, go elsewhere, or fucking prove me wrong. Now, very interesting that he says that last sentence, or prove me wrong, because we've seen the rumors. Is he going to come back to AEW? Is he going to stay away from AEW? Personally, I would want him to stay away unless he truly comes back with an open mind, kind of like Andrade did, and, you know, is here for good. Doesn't just elevate himself like he did the first time to go back to WWE only to get cut like a year later. It was instant fucking karma for him. We'll see what happens with that. Some other MJF news is Noah Gilbert on X asked, who are the next 5 AEW World Champs? And MJF said, MJF retires, tournament to honor MJF's legacy, and a crown new champion. MJF's son wins the belt. Beneath that, Kevin goes, what a mark. This is why I think MJF is just beautiful for the business of AEW to be champ. I think he is going to eventually hold the record for the most amount of title wins by the time his career ends. Yes, his last title run was short. The next one will likely probably be short as well, but I'm sure he'll mix it in with some longer runs like he had his first time, which was what, I think like 9 or 10 months he had that belt. Some other pro wrestling news that I didn't talk about in my last video that I should have. It completely just went over my head. The Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven return to Ring of Honor. We saw them show up at Supercard of Honor last Friday. Really, really good to have them back. I would love to see them get mixed in with Adam Cole if Adam Cole returns. And if the rumors are true that the New Day are joining AEW soon, we could definitely see those two teams go at it, both backstage and some funny BTE segments. In tag team matches, I think it's great that they're back, and they should have honestly never left. And TNA, just a sinking ship, really. And lastly on this video, according to Self-Made Pro, Leon Slater could sign with AEW once his contract ends with TNA. Some reports pointed to Slater signing with WWE, but Tony Khan's company is reportedly showing a lot of interest in signing him. If he does show up in AEW, again, I want him to want to be in AEW, not to elevate himself to WWE. Tony Khan's got to be very smart about who he signs. If he wants to be in AEW for the long haul, think of the matches he could have. Kevin Knight, Swerve, Ospreay, Darby Allin, Hangman, so many others. Laundry list of great matches that Leon Slater could have. He is a really, really good talent. Let me know down below if you think he would join AEW and if you want him to join AEW. And now lastly, no DDT segment, as we have to cover what was in that box. I opened it up, and look, for those of you who are interested, look on my page on YouTube. Shortly after I upload this video, I'm going to upload a picture of the 2 items that I got, and I need your help because I'm guessing this is some weird ass puzzle to decode. It was literally just a sheet of paper with a short puzzle to decode. I'm assuming it's something that needs to be decoded. Not quite sure how to decode it. It's just a bunch of numbers. Then there was an SD card. Now, I'll show that in the photo. I don't know if I'm going to plug that into my computer. I think, if anything, I might find like a burner computer to plug it into just to be safe. I'm not going to use it on my personal laptop, and we'll see what's on there. But I think before I use the SD card in anything, I want to see what this note decodes to, because that's literally all that was in there. A sheet of paper with a puzzle to decode and an SD card. I don't know who the hell this hacker person is. I don't know if they think this is funny, if it's, just funny to waste my time. But it's getting a little bit more serious now, especially depending on what that sheet of paper decodes to. Again, look for that picture shortly after this video posts, and if you can help me in the comments on that. That's all I had for this video on Screw the Script. Let me know down below your thoughts on Swerve Strickland for this top turnbuckle topic on this Tuesday video drop. Again, long-term storytelling. I think that he ultimately is going to join the Hurt Syndicate and use that to elevate himself back to the top and become AEW champ either at the tail end of 2026 or early 2027. After I predict that Will Ospreay will beat MJF, who MJF it's going to beat Darby Allin. I know it's kind of, whoa, you get the idea. As always, this has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.